Well, welcome to the Aging Boomers. I'm your host, Frank Sampson. Of course, on our show, we discuss so many of the issues facing the boomers, which I fit into that category, their parents, and what we know, of course, is an aging population. And before I introduce our guests today, I want to remind everybody that today's show is sponsored by Senior Care Authority, a professional senior placement and elder care consulting organization that has a national network of advisors to help in determining the right path for senior living and receiving proper care. So whether you just need an advocate or it's in-home care, assisted living, residential, or memory care, get the necessary advice from a senior care advisor in your area by calling Senior Care Authority at 888-809-1231, or you could go directly to the website at www.seniorcareauthority.com. Again, I want to thank everybody. We're getting more and more listeners each and every day. So thanks for letting your friends and family and associates know about our show. Of course, many of you listen have kind of signed up through iTunes or iHeartRadio, or many of you, of course, have downloaded our free app on your iPhone or Android phone. You can just do that by just typing in the Aging Boomers, and that way you get up to date on all of our interviews with our wonderful guests. Also, you could go to our website at agingboomers.com. And thanks again for many of you who have supported my recent book, also called The Aging Boomers, which is a compilation of many of the interviews we've done. So thank you for that. If you haven't seen it, you could certainly go to Amazon or go to our website to learn more. So I would like to introduce our guests today. I'm pretty excited about this subject matter because it's something that's kind of bothered me when I've seen various walkers around in places that I have visited with tennis balls hooked at the bottom, and I just couldn't quite understand why we're using this old method. And we're going to talk about a new one with Jennifer Harris and Jeremy. You know, I should have asked you, Jeremy, is it Knopow? Is that, how do you pronounce your last name?
Hi, Frank. No, it's Knopow, but that's okay. It's tough to get right.
I should have asked you before. So Jennifer Harris and Jennifer Knopow are the founders of Motivo, and were inspired by the mobility needs of their parents to design and engineer a new device that would enhance the end user's lifestyle. Their backgrounds are pretty extensive. Jennifer has more than 20 years of design experience, innovating new products for emerging and established global brands. Her design work can be found as part of the permanent collection at the Samuel Dorsey Museum of Art in New York, and has been exhibited nationally at galleries and museums, including the Cleveland Institute of Art, Contemporary Crafts Gallery, and the John Michael Kohler Art Center. Jeremy has over 20 years of Fortune 500 consumer product development and management experience at companies. With all that corporate experience, he has often sought out the more purposeful problems to solve, working on everything from providing hot showers to 9/11 rescue workers to fighting malaria in Africa. So Jeremy and Jennifer, I just want to welcome you to the Aging Boomers. Thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you, Frank, for inviting us.
Yeah,
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's great, and I think what you're doing is great. So the company's name is Motivo, all right? Hopefully I pronounced that one right. So you're, as I mentioned before, you know, your parents or other family members had mobility needs, and you decided to then redesign the walker. Is that kind of what led to this?
Yeah, so Jeremy and I both had parents and grandparents who had to use mobility devices, and we saw firsthand some of the limitations that these devices, whether walkers, canes, crutches, presented to our parents and family members, and thought as product designers that there was certainly something we could do about it, and knew that there were obvious solutions out there that could be designed around and captured in alternative products. And so the two of us joined together and founded Motivo to do just that.
So were your family's members your first test?
Some of them, yes. My mom had broken her ankle and fortunately had recovered at the time. But we did work with our family members, but also worked with a whole bunch of other users and caregivers doing research with them. We would talk to them about how the current products, whether walkers or canes or crutches, how they worked for them now, how they could be improved. And then as designers, we would go back and we would take all of that information and we would create prototypes, essentially rough drafts of some of the ideas that we've collected about their needs and how we might solve for those needs. And then we would take those prototypes back to many of those folks. We would talk to them again, have them use them, experience them, get feedback, and it's an iterative process. We did this for a good 2, almost 3 years to get to a final kind of design where we are today. And so it was all of that input from those folks, from those meetings and research that drove kind of the recipe for what this end product should be to meet the needs of users and help them live more independently, move around with better ergonomics, and have a product that could reflect a little bit of who they are.
So give us a little history about the walker we know today, that you can pick it up at a drugstore, or, I go into many assisted living and skilled nursing facilities. We see them all over. All right, give us a little history about that product.
Sure. Originally the walker, the ubiquitous walker with the tennis balls on it that you see everywhere, was designed in England for wounded World War veterans, and it was really intended to help them recover in the hospital, but it was never really intended to be used outside of a medical facility like that. And then over the years, that product has crept out of the hospitals, out of England, and into, as you mentioned, drugstores all over the world. But that basic design, if you go back and look at the patent literature, even in the 1920s and 30s, looks almost identical to that basic frame walker that you see today. The thing that changed a little bit, maybe around the 60s or 70s, they started introducing the wheeled version of the walker that you see out there, sometimes referred to as a rollator. That's the unit that has 4 wheels and a seat and a brake. And that tubular rollator that you see out there, that one pretty much hasn't changed much since the 60s and 70s, with some minor iterations. And that's the kind of product that my late father, who had to use these products before he passed away from ALS, and my grandmother had to use as well. And like Jennifer mentioned, it just pained me as a designer to see them having to use products that haven't changed for almost a century.
So you guys wanted to create a product that would address more independence. All right. So you design a product that you call the Tour, right?
Yep.
So tell us a little bit more about this product and how it differs from what you just talked about.
Well, the key request that we heard from our users when we did our research was that they were concerned about being hunched over when you use one of the existing rolling walkers, because you always have that fixed seat right in the way of where your legs should be. Doctors and nurses tell you that you should walk upright and inside your walker, but any of those rolling walkers, which is really what you need to use if you're going to be outside of a hospital, you can't do that because that seat's always in your way. So figuring out how to give people the seat that they want when they want to take a rest, but get out of their way when they're walking around or trying to reach something, that's what drove a big part of our design and the architecture. And then the other part of it was, how do they interact with their everyday lives? They need a place to put stuff. So we added a storage compartment that you can actually get at without having to walk around to the front of the unit. You don't have to empty when you fold up the unit and put it in your trunk like a lot of the existing units. We added a tray that expands to accommodate like a dinner plate, has a couple cup holders on it, so you actually have a place to put a meal and items that you're carrying around. Those seem like little things, but they make a big difference in enabling your everyday life when you want to be out and about. And then the last part of it, like Jen mentioned, really came back to kind of the pride and dignity part of it. And we found that a lot of people didn't want to use a walker because they felt it made them feel like a medical patient. And they didn't like that. And they wanted something that was a better reflection of them and their personality, and that they were a person, not just a patient. So that's where you see, the automotive-inspired styling and the customized graphics and, the sports teams logos. And so we wanted to give people the ability to customize this unit and be a reflection of them, just like you would with a car.
Yeah, you said car, and when I first saw, we do a podcast, so you're not seeing the video, and we'll tell people how they could take a look at it, but it's actually a pretty good look, and it almost looks like a little car when I first looked at it. So, the guys did a great job on the design of it and the look and feel of it. So that's great.
And that was, as Jeremy mentioned, that was very intentional, trying to rupture that medical look. My grandmother refused to use a rollator for many years, even though she should, because she didn't like the way it looked. And I even went back and tried to find pictures of her with her walker rollator, and I couldn't find any of them because she always was adamant that if a picture was taken, that was not to be in the picture with her because she was embarrassed by it. Right. So if she had something that was, modern, sophisticated, she could personalize, I think that might have helped her, as she got older, embrace a little bit more of the help that she needed to get around.
And my grandmother as well, even in her own home, she didn't want to use the walker because of how it made her feel. And unfortunately, one night when she got up and she didn't want to use her walker to go to the kitchen, is when she fell and she broke her hip. And she never came out of the hospital after that. And that was in her own home that she was embarrassed to use it. So that, for both of us, I think that left a really strong mark in what we wanted to help solve in creating the tour.
Yeah. So, it's kind of, we laugh about it a little bit, but these tennis balls at the bottom of these, how have you overcome the need for that? Well,
the tennis balls are a remedy that folks have kind of moved to because they didn't have another solution for it, and they use that on a walker that typically has skids in the back. Our walker has 4 wheels, which Jeremy was talking about. Is often called a rollator, and so for us, we don't have those skids or a need for tennis balls with the 4 wheels. The design itself is supposed to address all of the needs that the user has, so that they don't have to find remedies or Band-Aids like a tennis ball to put onto the product to make it usable for them in their everyday lives and environments.
Yeah, because I felt that, many times it's kind of dangerous. I mean, you have a lot of these, whether it be at home or in assisted living or skilled nursing, some of them are rooms or areas are carpeted and some have more hardwood type floors. And it seems like when you're on the carpeting, I mean, it could drag, and that could be dangerous. So I assume you thought that all through with the types of flooring that people are dealing with.
Yeah, the tour as we've designed it, we've put it through the most rigorous testing at independent labs and put tens of thousands of cycles on it and miles on the wheels on all different types of surfaces and environments to make sure that it will hold up. And so yeah, I mean it's a purposefully designed product for the uses that people have every day versus, as Jen mentioned, kind of a Band-Aid that people are trying to solve for themselves, and in some cases with some dangerous consequences.
Yeah. What about those with more physical limitations? Whether it be arthritis or stroke victims, or I mean, there's no great answer for that, but tell us a little more about the tour and dealing with situations like that. Well,
we do actually have a number of quite a bit of the interest in rollators in general is from folks with some of the conditions like you listed there, whether it's Parkinson's or stroke or arthritis, and that's in a number of cases what causes people to need a little help getting around in the first place. And it depends on their condition. If they can use a walker now, they can use the tour, and it'll probably make it easier for them. One of the features that we designed in to the tour that you don't find in other rollators is this speed control element in our braking system, which means that you can apply the brake a little bit and it'll stay that way. So it slows the rollator down if you're going down a hill or if you need to have a little bit more resistance because of your condition. And that was something that we did hear from a number of users who use existing rollators that sometimes it could get away from them without the ability to control that speed.
So, I'll ask you again before we're done with the interview, but maybe people that are listening right now might even be in front of their computer and they want to take a look at it. So how can they tell us your website and how they could at least look at it and learn more?
Yeah, probably the best way to take a look at it, like you said, is to go to our website, and that's at motivolife.com. And there we have extensive information about the product, a little background on ourselves and what inspired the product. And you can contact us through our email there or even call us on the phone.
Okay. So this is a huge market, and I know you realize that. So how are you marketing this? Is it out there now for people to purchase, or at what stage are you right now?
We're actually right in the middle of launching as we're speaking with you. So actually later today we're going over to look at our first shipment. So you'll find us out in social media now, and actually next week we'll start appearing on some TV spots and some other places where people might find us, and our Facebook page, and so we're getting the word out. And actually, a lot of the word is getting out from people who have found us and are telling their friends about it, or have posted likes on their Facebook page, and it's been pretty remarkable, actually, the response that we've gotten, particularly from people looking for products for their parents. I think this is, for a long time, there hasn't been a product in this industry that people feel good about giving to their parents. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really touched a nerve with a lot of the adult children and adult grandchildren that are trying to help out their mom or dad or grandparents. So actually that word of mouth has probably been our best advertising of anything.
So is your marketing right now going to be direct to consumer, more through social media and direct to your website? Is that how it's going to be done, at least initially?
We actually will be doing that, as you said, but we also are working with select dealers across the country who will also be carrying our products. So if someone would like to go and touch and feel the tour, experience it, they would have the opportunity to do that at their local home medical equipment dealer in their area. And we have on our website an option where someone can search for whether or not a dealer is in their area.
And if they're not, we do sell them direct through our website as well.
Great. Is there, if you ship it, is there much assembly that has to be done, or come as it is?
It comes fully assembled, ready to go out of the box, which is a difference from just about every other rollator you'll get out there that comes disassembled from China. Ours comes fully assembled from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it's ready to go when you get it out of the box.
That's great. And it's a lot of custom. I mean, I took a look at your website and I saw. I could tell you were from Wisconsin because I saw the Packer logo, the Green Bay Packer logo. So I kind of figured, they must be from Wisconsin. But how many different options are there that people can order as far as the design goes?
Yeah, so we have custom graphics that are designed for the tour. We have flames, we have flowers, we have some pattern graphics. So there is a range there that folks can pick from, and those are removable and reusable. So if you're feeling a little fiery one morning, you can apply your flames. But by afternoon, if you're feeling more like some soothing flowers, you can put those on and interchange them out. So there's a lot of versatility in the graphics as well as choices that folks can pick from on the site. And then we also offer a range of NCAA, NFL, as well as MLB graphics. So if you or your loved one is a huge sports fan, you can apply those graphics to your tour, and they're able to support their favorite team. And those two can be removed and new ones put on if they so choose.
I don't need a walker yet, but I think I want to order a Cubbies one now. So that's right.
Yeah. Well, you better do it now because otherwise it could be another 100 years, right?
That's right. So it's very exciting what you're doing, and I really commend you for it. Some people are thinking, "Wow, is this going to be too expensive, and will Medicare pay for it?" Can you share your thoughts there? I mean, as it relates to, do you happen to know, would Medicare pay for this, or a portion of it, or what type of cost could people foresee compared to walkers that are on the market right now?
Sure. Well, the dealers that are carrying the tour in the industry right now, they actually prefer that products like this are not coded for Medicare because the reimbursement rate for a walker has been slashed to such a small amount that on a product like this, it's just not worth the consumers or the dealers' headache for the $30 or $40 that they might get towards it. So it's not coded for Medicare, but it does meet all of the requirements that Medicare would ordinarily require. So that allows people's private insurance to potentially cover it, and that just varies based on people's individual insurance plans.
Right. Okay, good. So what suggestions would you have to adult children who want to get this for their mom or dad, all right, and how to somebody, let's say, who's been fighting the idea of getting a walker, but they see this and they go, I think my mom would like this, or I think my dad. Any suggestions on how to introduce it to them?
Yeah, we've gotten some phone calls from caregivers, and that's one of the things that excites them about the tour is that it doesn't look like the medical product that their parents know. and are very reluctant to use. And the tour, because it's so different in its visual appearance, and then all of the personalization and convenience features, we've seen that folks want to actually come up and take a picture with the tour because it's just so different and interesting. And so for parents who are trying to get, for caregivers who are trying to get their parents to embrace the idea that maybe they need a little help with mobility and a product like the tour could help them, I think it's going to be an easier conversation. Kids like the product, so if a grandparent has grandkids, their grandkids will more than likely be very interested and not kind of intimidated by the product, because it visually, like you said, looks more like a vehicle or a mode of transportation that they're much more familiar with than a walker or a medical product.
Yeah.
And we also recognize that sometimes you can't tell until you get your hands on it. So we do offer this 30-day risk-free trial. So you can order it, try it out, see if you like it. If not, then we'll take it back for a full refund. So if there's not a dealer in your area that carries it, you can get it that way and try it out. And as Jen was talking about, that customization part is kind of a unique and fun experience as well. So you can go on our website and go through the buy a tour or reserve a tour link, and they can actually apply, pick out the color of tour that they want and pick out the graphics that they want, and they can actually build it on the site and see what it will look like with the different graphics and the different color. And if that helps them visualize a little bit, and it's kind of fun, just like you would if you were trying to customize an automobile on a lot of those websites. So you can see what you're building.
So this is just the marketing in me that's going to bring this up. But if somebody wanted to send you a graphic or a photo of their grandkids, is that something you could possibly do in the future? Put that on there?
That is something we could do in the future, and we've actually we have had conversations about that. So we're looking at all kinds of other accessory options as well, and other graphic options. So that's a great one.
Yeah, well, Jennifer and Jeremy, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Go ahead and just share with everybody again how they could learn more about this new product.
Sure. The best way is on our website, which is www.motivolife, motivolife.com, and we're also on Facebook.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. We'll have to have you back in the future. Give us an up-to-date information on how things are going, but good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to thank you all for joining us on the Aging Boomers today. Just be safe out there, and we'll talk to you all soon.